What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone is doing well. I look outside. I'm fine. I just came outside. Screw it. Couldn't deal with being cooped up anymore. And there's a lot of people running around. Not as many cars on the street as I usually see, but not as many people as I usually see walking around. But you know, this thing we're dealing with is it's not a plague, but still, people are getting sick, people are passing from it, and I hope that's not affecting any of you. And if it has, my heart goes out to you. There's a lot of people out of work right now. I just got bit by that, and it's just a product of being a part of a big machine. In my particular field, I'm one of many spokes in a wheel, and enough of those spokes shut down that the whole wheel stopped turning. It is what it is. For those of you out there who are struggling with that, I wish the best for you. There's a lot of us hunkered down right now dealing with this thing that I can't even say. That's another thing, guys. I did a couple videos when they first said that we could mention that thing, and it threw my whole channel out of whack. So any of you out there that's watching this that's a YouTuber, understand that. I don't know what the trick is. I've never been somebody who was too concerned with the algorithm or the numbers or any of that, but legit, I had 2 videos with the virus that cannot be mentioned in it, and threw my channel completely out of whack. I mean, I've never, even when I had less than 100 subs, I would never get views as small or as low as I had gotten over the last couple of weeks. That probably has something to do with the platform being inundated. A lot of people are streaming, a lot of people are putting out content right now because everybody's home. I believe that has something to do with it. But I privated those 2 videos, and all of a sudden my views are going kind of up. I mean, further up than they were before. So just word of the wise, if you're out there and you're, just you can't even say it. Censorship is insane. I've been fighting censorship since I was a kid, since freaking Tipper Gore was putting explicit, parental advisory labels on our music. But I hope everyone's doing well. Thank you very much for checking me out. Yeah, it's just a beautiful day. I just wanted to do a car video because it's just such a beautiful day. One thing I wanted to touch on was I've been kind of going around to different live streams, checking out different live streams, or watching my friends on different live streams, speaking with various types of different fans in our in all of our fandoms. The Fandom Menace is an umbrella of a loose collection of voices. There's no central leadership, none of that. But we do cover a lot of different fandoms. And so I've been taking stock in what other people are saying. And I've heard some really good conversations with people outside the Menace. I actually love talking with people outside the Menace. Getting an idea of their perspective, where they're coming from, how they feel about things. And to be honest, when it comes to the lack of creativity, or those that believe there's a lack of creativity in things like Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, and others, all the themes are pretty much the same. Like, the complaints are the same, with the exception, in some cases recently that I've heard, about the reasoning. And I've heard this argument before, that apparently, I'm right wing. Apparently, that's news to me. I've never been right wing, but the reason that I'm right wing is because I believe that there's a socio-political narrative that's being injected into these entertainment properties. Well, I absolutely do believe that, and I am not right-wing. And I don't think it takes much investigation to see plainly that these creators espouse their political and social beliefs all the time. They talk about who they're going to hire, how they're going to hire them, the types of stories they put out, why they're emphasizing certain things in their stories, and it all has to do with social justice, and it all has to do with, far left-wing politics, extremist politics. Like, I wouldn't have cared if it was right or left-wing extremism. I'd call out extremism in any form. But yeah, so that's usually the argument. And when I've seen conversations with people who can hold their own in as far as, the lack of creativity in certain areas, that's great. But I have to say to anyone who tries to divide that, who tries to leave out the injection of politics into entertainment as a reasoning for the entertainment being bad or good, or whatever you believe, you're willfully ignorant. Now, it may not be your arena. Politics, social issues, that kind of thing, that might not be your arena. That might not be, things you're usually invested in. Okay, so I'd have to say that if you don't understand that, if you dismiss it, either you're willfully ignorant, or you need to stay in your own lane. And I don't mean get out of the fandom. I just mean if you're not on the up and up, if you can't tell, if you haven't seen the obvious signals, warning signs, direct language that some of these creators have used to beat you over the head with the fact that they are using these platforms to espouse their propaganda, then stay in your own lane. You can't dismiss it. That's like, it's like saying math isn't real. It's just, the grass isn't green. It is. It is a fact. And there's no amount of, that's just right-wingers being upset, or those are just people on, there's accusing others of seeing things that's not there. You're not seeing anything, if that's your position. Now, you can like the stuff. If you like the Disney sequel trilogy, if you like Discovery, if you like, the Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who, if you like that stuff, well, good for you. I'm glad somebody likes it. Good. I don't like it because with the exception of Doctor Who, I've been a fan of these things for decades, of Star Wars and Star Trek. And I don't bury my head in the sand when it comes to politics and social issues and social direction. That's because I'm traditionally left-wing. So I look at these things, and I can see, as a person who has been left-wing, that they are injecting social politics. They are injecting their rhetoric into these entertainment properties. I don't know where you've been if you don't believe this. And so it's either one of two things. You're willfully ignorant, or you're not staying in your own lane. I don't know what it is, but like I've heard, what is a shame is that some of the people that I've heard say this in a conversation about the sci-fi itself, whether they're pro or con, whether they're for or against it, they're not stupid people. They're not stupid people. Which is even scarier to me, because if I think that you are an intelligent person who understands the genre, and you understand the franchise, and you are a fan, and then you dismiss the obvious, then I have to assume that you're willfully ignorant, at which point manipulative. When you're willfully ignorant of something obvious, when you've got a kid who acts a certain way, and you excuse the actions of the child for whatever reason, and you don't blame, or you don't at least look at the parents as to why a child acts the way they do. You just excuse the behavior of the child. You don't do any investigation. That is the same type of willful ignorance when you look at something like The Last Jedi, and you don't look at the quotes that have come out of Kathleen Kennedy or Ryan Johnson's mouth. You're woefully ignorant. If you look at these Marvel characters, these new Marvel characters or reimagined old characters, and you don't look, or you don't read, and you don't listen to what is coming out of the mouths of these creatives, you're willfully ignorant. This is all about pushing an agenda. It's all about social conditioning. What really pisses myself and a lot of others off is that this is conditioning aimed at our children. These are people trying to use media to condition our kids to think a certain way, to overstep our authority as parents, our traditions and our cultures and our religions, trying to overstep that and make acceptable things that are not acceptable that might not be acceptable in my culture, my traditions. And that's the crux of freedom, man. We are all free to follow our own belief systems, our own cultures, within these United States and the Western world, I would hope. But you have people in positions of power, and you always have had people in positions of power that want to control a narrative, that want to control thought. You also have extremists in this situation who are very false. Their positions are very false. They want to create division. They don't want to heal anything. They don't want to create equality. They want to create inequality. And they want to create division. And while everyone's fighting, they can run off and make money and influence for no fucking reason. Just look up Zoe Quinn or Anita Sarkeesian. All right, perfect examples of people who have no interest in equality and want nothing to do but to sow division and hate and make money and fame while they do it. Perfect examples. And I'm sure there's many others from all over the political and social spectrum, because this isn't something that's contained just to, far left wingers, far left extremists. Anyway, so yeah, my point is this: it's a beautiful day out. Wash your hands, wash your ass. Be good to each other. Help each other out if you can. Be good to one another. And my heart's out. My heart's with you guys. And also, if you are a person who's on YouTube, in a comment section, and you are of this mind that there is there's a dividing wall between these creators and their batshit beliefs and the garbage that they create, whether you like it or not, then you're a retard. Or if you're intelligent, you're willfully ignorant, which is worse. I'd rather think that you're a stupid person than believe that you're an intelligent person who is willfully ignorant of the use of these franchises to manipulate and condition people. I mean, if you really want to have your head in the sand, stay in your own fucking lane. That's what you need to do. Really, just admit that you don't want to know anything about it, and just discuss the creative decisions, and stick to that lonely half of the argument, that isolated lonely half of the argument. Because I'll be honest with you, when it comes to the creative decisions, I don't need to bring up the political beliefs at all. I really don't. The creative decisions are garbage. But looking at the creative decisions that have been bad without adding the reasoning for it is like trying to figure out a disease without considering the source. It's like it's like what we're doing with this virus right now. There's no cure for it. So they're only trying to medicate the symptoms, but they can't actually deal with the virus itself. It's the same damn thing you are doing when you dismiss the creatives in an argument about the franchises that they have infected. You're just trying to talk about the symptoms. You're not talking about the disease itself. Love you guys. Wash your hands, wash your ass. Be good to one another, and peace.